Okay, so I'm just going to turn it on at the power. We'll show the controller. So this just turns on. So there's two ways to switch it on. One is to do a long press, and that'll turn it on with the default settings that are set. If you want to set your own settings, then you do a short press and it takes you through the menu. So we want a total temperature of highest, which is 38, which is the highest that you can set. The time is 30 minutes. You can change that and it'll go up to a few hours and then infinity, so you can have it on forever. And now it's turned on and it gives you the time. Ambient temperature 23. The fan itself has started. What I've got at the moment is the fuel line actually unplugged from it, because I want to see the diesel coming out. Just because I've plugged everything in, there might be some air in the lines. So I'm going to wait for the pump to switch on and see some fuel coming out at the end. When I first did this, it actually took about an hour to prime the entire line. For this reason, that what the heater does is it switches on the fan, it starts heating up the glow plug inside, which is what ignites the diesel. So that's drawing some reasonable amps. Once it gets down to operating mode, that drops down to about 1.8 amps. So it just ends up heating this glow plug for some time, a couple minutes or so, before it turns the pump on. So priming it takes such a long time because you've got to wait for all of this electronic business to happen before it primes it. I guess you could prime the lines with a syringe or something similar to pull some diesel through, but there are going to be some little air bubbles in between that will eventually remove. I just prefer to have it primed fully with liquid. So the pump's on. It clicks a little bit, if that's audible. So I know it's pumping fuel because the line is twitching. I will just wait for some diesel to come out the fuel line. So I'm just going to keep doing that. If the heater doesn't receive diesel within about 5 minutes, then an error is displayed on the console saying a lot of fuel. So if that happens, I'll end up just turning the power off and turning the power on until diesel comes out the fuel line. And once that happens, then I'll switch it all off. I'll plug the fuel line into the fuel inlet, and then switch back on to watch the actual startup when we know that it's going to ignite.